In 2014, a janitor died in a small town in Vermont. He drove a second-hand Toyota. He wore clothes from thrift stores. He ate at diners and left small tips. His neighbors felt sorry for him. His coworkers assumed he struggled to pay his bills. When his will was read, the room went completely silent. This man, this janitor, had left $6 million to his local hospital and $1.2 million to his local library. His total net worth, $8 million. Nobody knew. Not his family, not his friends, not a single person in his life had any idea. His name was Ronald Read, and what he did with a janitor's salary will completely change the way you think about money forever. Before I tell you exactly how Ronald Read built $8 million on a janitor's salary, I need to ask you something. If I gave you $50 right now, what would you do with it? Most people would spend it. A nice dinner, new shoes, something on Amazon that feels important today and forgotten tomorrow. Ronald Read did something different with his $50. Something so simple, it almost sounds too boring to be true. And yet, that boring, simple decision made him richer than 99% of the people who ever lived. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will either inspire you or haunt you. Possibly both. Ronald Read was born in 1921 in Dummerston, Vermont. He was the first person in his family to ever attend high school, and he walked 4 miles every single day to get there. He spent his working life doing 2 things: pumping gas at a service station for 25 years, sweeping floors as a janitor at a JCPenney store for 17 years. His salary never broke $20 an hour. He never got a promotion that changed his life. He never started a business. He never inherited money. He never won anything. He lived in the same small house he bought decades earlier. He drove old cars. He fixed his own coat with safety pins rather than buy a new one. From the outside, Ronald Read looked like a man who had nothing. From the inside, Ronald Read was quietly building an empire that nobody could see. Now here is where most people make a mistake when they hear this story. They think Ronald must have been secretly brilliant. He must have had some special knowledge about the stock market that nobody else had. He didn't. His strategy was so simple that a 12-year-old could understand it. And that is exactly what made it so powerful. Ronald Read had one strategy, one single strategy he followed for over 60 years without stopping. Every single month, no matter what, he took a small portion of his paycheck and bought shares in solid American companies. Companies he understood. Companies that made products people would always need. Businesses like gas utilities, railroads, banks, and consumer goods. He never tried to time the market. He never sold when things got scary. He never chased the hot new investment everyone was talking about. He just kept buying, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. This strategy has a name. It is called index fund investing. And combined with one of the most powerful forces in the universe, compound interest, it turned Ronald Read's modest monthly contributions into something almost impossible to believe. Let me show you exactly how. Here is the math that Ronald Read understood and almost nobody else does. If you invest just $50 a month, starting at age 25, at an average stock market return of 10% per year, here is what happens. After 10 years, you have $10,000. After 20 years, you have $38,000. After 30 years, you have $113,000. After 40 years, you have $316,000. After 50 years, you have $866,000. After 60 years, you have $2.3 million. From $50 a month. But Ronald did not just invest $50. As his income slowly grew over the decades, so did his contributions. And he never, not once, dipped into his investments. he let compound interest do what compound interest does when you give it enough time. Compound interest is not complicated. It is simply your money making money, and then that money making more money, and that money making even more money. Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. He said, "He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." Ronald Read understood it at the deepest possible level. Not because he was a genius, because he was patient. Now here is the psychology lesson inside Ronald Read's story. And this is the part that most people miss completely. Why don't more people do what Ronald did? The strategy is simple. The math is proven. The results are undeniable. The answer is one word: dopamine. Your brain is wired for instant reward. Every time you buy something, every time you treat yourself, every time you spend money on something that feels good right now, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, that feel-good chemical that says, yes, more of that. Saving money and investing produces no dopamine hit. There is no immediate reward, no instant gratification, no buzz of pleasure when you transfer $50 to an index fund. Scientists call this delayed discounting. Your brain literally discounts the value of future rewards in favor of immediate ones. $1 today feels worth more than $10 in 20 years, even when the math says the opposite is true. Ronald Read somehow rewired this impulse. He found his dopamine hit not in spending, but in watching his portfolio grow. He reportedly checked his investments regularly, not to sell, but simply to watch the numbers climb. That quiet satisfaction of seeing long-term progress became his reward system. He delayed gratification for 60 years, and his delayed gratification compounded just like his money did. Most people spend 60 years chasing instant rewards and end up with nothing. Ronald Read spent 60 years resisting instant rewards and ended up with everything. And here is the part of this story that should genuinely disturb you. While Ronald Read was quietly building $8 million, there were doctors, lawyers, and executives earning 10 times his salary who retired with almost nothing. More income does not build wealth. More discipline does. In his final years, Ronald Read was still living simply, still driving old cars, still wearing patched clothes, still eating at the same diner he had always loved. But every morning, he would sit with his newspaper and quietly check his stocks. Not with anxiety, not with greed, with the quiet satisfaction of a man who knew exactly what he had built and why. His estate lawyer later said that Ronald never talked about his money, never boasted, never changed his lifestyle. He simply lived his values every single day for 92 years. When he died in June 2014, the story spread around the world. Every major newspaper covered it. Financial experts were stunned, not because the math was complicated, but because the discipline was so rare. A janitor, $8 million, one simple strategy, 6 decades of patience. The most expensive thing in Ronald Read's world was never a product in a store. It was the impatience he never had. Now here is the mirror moment of this story. Ronald Read started investing in the 1950s with access to almost nothing compared to what you have today. You have investment apps that take 60 seconds to set up. You have index funds with zero minimum investment. You have compound interest calculators that show you exactly what your patience will be worth in 10, 20, 30 years. Ronald Read had none of that. He had discipline and time. You have discipline, time, and every tool ever invented to make this easier. So the question is not whether you can do what Ronald Read did. The question is whether you will. Start with whatever you have. $10 a month, $25 a month, $50 a month. The amount matters far less than the habit, because the habit compounds just like the money does. every month you wait is a month of compound interest you're giving away forever. Ronald Read could not get those months back. Neither can you. But starting today, right now, after watching this video, you still have every month that comes after this one. The question is, what will you do with them? Ronald Read never gave a TED Talk. He never wrote a book. He never had a Twitter account or a YouTube channel. He just showed up, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. And in the end, his silence said more about wealth than every finance guru who ever lived. If this story moved you, drop a comment below with one number, the amount you are going to invest this month, even if it is $10, especially if it is $10. Subscribe, because every single week I tell the stories they never taught you in school about money mindset and the psychology of people who refused to think small. And watch this video next, because it tells the story of the people who got everything Ronald Read built and lost it all in 5 years. I will see you there.